Hi everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and today I'm going to be showing you the 10 cards that I created with the February 2020 Spellbinders card kit. So I know I'm late again on the Spellbinders kits. I do receive them kind of late in the month, and I always put my design team projects first as my priority, and then I work on the hero kits. So I apologize that it's a little bit late, but this kit was super cute, and if you're anything like me, there's probably a few people out there that don't open their kits right away. So this kit had a unicorn and rainbow theme to it. It's a lot different than some of the past kits by Spellbinders, and I had a lot of fun working with it. I stocked up on some birthday cards and encouragement cards with this kit. For card 1 here, you can see I stamped out a bunch of the rainbows from the stamp set, and now I'm coloring them in with my Copics. I'm just using one marker for each ray of the rainbow, and I chose my colors based on the rainbow pattern paper from the paper pack. So it's a rainbow going from blue to purple to pink. And now I'm going to assemble the unicorn die that came in the kit. So I'll quickly show you how I made it. I used the cardstock that came in the kit to die cut the unicorn and the hair, or the mane of the unicorn. Here I'm trying to decide which eyes I liked, and I thought that the eyelashes kind of looked weird. There's actually 2 sets of eyelashes. I do use the second pair in another card, but I thought those like really bushy eyelashes looked like caterpillars. So I decided to glue down the heart eyes, and I used my white gel pen to add a highlight to the eyes. And now I'm working on the unicorn horn. I wanted the unicorn horn to kind of match my rainbows and go from blue to purple. So I'll just attach that to the top of the head. I did inlay the blue and purple pieces inside the gold outline of the unicorn horn. I'm going to add the pink parts to the ears. I really love the detail on this die. And lately my favorite technique has been paper piecing and die cutting, and I know a lot of people don't like fussy die cuts with a lot of layers, but I really like paper piecing, so I've been doing it a lot lately with all of my cards. I decided for the mane I was just going to leave it the colors of my rainbows that I colored, so purple, light blue, and pink. I really enjoyed the color scheme of this kit, and for all 10 cards I kind of stuck with that color scheme. I'm going to add 1 flower to the unicorn's hair, and then I'm going to assemble my card. So I die cut a stitched rectangle frame here. And I created that just by layering 2 of my stitch rectangles together. I created more of a wider frame. And then behind that frame, I'm going to glue down all of my rainbows. And I like that this kind of looks like a banner. I'm just attaching glue to the bottom ends of the rainbows and adhering them to the back of this white frame. And then I'm taking my card panel, which is cut to the size of an A2 card base. I'm laying out my white frame, and I felt like the rainbows weren't standing out enough behind that busy background, so I'm going to add some vellum behind this rectangle frame. And that's just going to mute down the background behind it a little bit. But you can still see those rainbows through the vellum. So I really have lately enjoyed working with vellum on pattern paper lately. I decided to stamp out my sentiment in that blank area inside the vellum. I will gold heat emboss this sentiment, and this vellum isn't meant for heat embossing, so I'm making sure that my heat gun is good and hot before I heat set my powder. The powder that I'm using is Hero Art's gold embossing powder. Off camera, I'm heating up my heat tool, and I'm very quickly heat setting that sentiment. I made sure to move my heat tool around a bit, and luckily I did not warp my vellum much at all. And the sentiment I chose is never stop chasing the rainbows. I'm going to adhere the rainbow frame directly onto my card panel, and then I decided to pop up my unicorn with some of my foam tape. The foam tape that I'm using is by Uline. It's super sticky, so once you adhere anything to your panel, it's very difficult to peel back up. So just be careful if you do have this foam tape. Okay, I'm going to flip that panel over, add some double-sided tape. This is the tape that comes in the kit, and I don't normally use it, so I have a whole bunch of it, and I decided to use it for this kit because I was curious to know how many cards I could make with it, and only using the tape and my art glitter glue for small things, I was able to make 13 cards with it. So here's a close-up of card 1. For card 2, I wanted to use this colored pencil card. I'm not sure what they're called. In the kit, you got several cards that kind of look like Project Life cards. And I wanted to use this one with the colored pencils to create an art themed card. I love that pattern paper with the paint splatters, so I used that in the background along with a scrap piece of pink pattern paper. I added some of the heart ephemera pieces behind the You Color Me Happy card just to add some interest there. I cut it in half so that I didn't have to use both the ephemera pieces since a lot of it gets covered up underneath that card. On top of it, I added the paint palette and paintbrush ephemera piece to the side. And then since this card is so simple, I think this card took me like 5 minutes to make. Probably my fastest card I've ever made with a Spellbinders kit, honestly. I just added a few stickers to the card. From the sticker pack, I'm going to add foam tape behind the card and the paint palette there and pop it up. And then just to finish this card, I'm going to add glossy accents over the paint blobs as well as the paintbrush tip. I wanted the paints to look like shiny paint, so I really like the look of glossy accents. I haven't used it in a long time, so it's quite old, so I had to really squeeze it out. I'm going to mat this panel behind some dark purple cardstock that came in the kit. Whenever I get my kits, I cut down all the colored cardstock down to 4 by 5¼ inch panels, and then I make a few panels that are the size of an A2 card base, and I use them as mats. And then I also use them to die cut. So I'll just attach that to my A2 card base, and that will complete card number 2. Okay, for card 3, I wanted to use that cute unicorn from the stamp set. You can see I stamped it out twice, and that's because I'm going to make this card twice. The ephemera pieces come to a pack, so sometimes I'm able to make duplicates of my cards, and whenever I can, I normally do that. Since coming up with a design takes some time, I like to take the opportunity to make as many cards as I can with that design. So I actually created only 9 designs. I thought I made 10, but I technically only made 9, but I came out with 13 cards total because, like I said, I do some in duplicates. You can see how I'm coloring in this unicorn. I want the body to be white, so I use C4, C2, and C0. I'm adding just a little bit of each marker to the right side of the unicorn. I'm going to have the highlight coming towards the top left. And then for the mane, I'm going to color each strand just with one marker. But I'm going to make a rainbow mane with my purple, pink, and blue markers. Again, sticking to that color scheme of the kit. And then for the unicorn, the horn of the unicorn, I wanted that to be gold. So I'm taking YR24 and Y18 to try and create a gold unicorn horn. And I think every unicorn needs a little bit of sparkle, so I'm going to just add my Wink of Stella pen over these 2 stamped images, and then I will fussy cut them off camera. Off camera, I also went ahead and gold heat embossed my sentiments. For one of these sentiments, I'm only going to fussy cut the "you were born" part of the sentiment. And instead of using the "to sparkle," I'm going to add magical underneath. So it will read "you were born magical." And then for my second card, I decided to just stick with "you were born to sparkle" since I really did like that sentiment from the stamp set. So they're slightly different, but basically the same. All right, for this card design, I'm going to add another strip of pink pattern paper to the bottom. And then above that, you can see I chose the unicorn pattern paper. And then I die cut a piece of vellum from a Stitch Square die in my stash, again to help mute down that background. And then on the pink portion of my panel, I'm going to add my sentiment. So I glued the magical ephemera piece to the bottom, and then above that I added my fussy cut "you were born" sentiment. Over that square vellum piece, I'm adding a rainbow. And then I wanted my rainbow to have some clouds, so I actually pulled apart the clouds from the sticker pack on the other rainbow and placed them onto this larger ephemera piece. And I also wanted my unicorn to have some wings, so I pretty much just chopped the wings off of the sticker unicorn and glued him onto my stamped unicorn. I'm going to add some glue behind the rainbow so that I hide the adhesive underneath the vellum. And here I realized my unicorn horn is too high up and it wouldn't fit in an A2 envelope. So I'm carefully peeling that up and re-gluing it on top of my rainbow. And then I'll just tuck in those wings again. And the sticker where I cut those wings off is actually the same exact unicorn, so you can just use the sticker instead of the stamped image if you wanted to. But I really like that this unicorn I colored had some dimension, so I just attached that to my A2 card base, and that will complete my third card design. And like I said, I made 2 of those. For card 4, again, I'm going to make 2 with 1 design. So I wanted to use this adorable sleeping unicorn ephemera piece, and I'm going to have it sit on top of this floral image. And I glued the floral image to a die cut oval, which I die cut from some of the pattern paper in the kit. I'm going to add foam tape behind the oval. I also added foam tape behind the unicorn. And then to fill in that top left space, I decided to glue down a sticker that has a sentiment on the inside of it, which I can't read what that says, but I will have close-up pictures on my coordinating blog post. For this card, I just changed up the pattern papers and I changed the sticker sentiment. I'm going to mat these panels. Actually, I think I only matte this one. The other one I just glue onto a card base. Yes. So here I'm trying to line it up. There will be a small 1/8 of an inch border. And then on the other one I matted it with some yellow cardstock. And then I decided to finish both of these off with some sequins. That came in the kit, and I also added some gold sequins that came in the Hey Foxy kit. So yeah, that's how those 2 cards turned out, really quick. I think that sleeping unicorn is super cute. For card 5, I believe, I'm cutting out a sentiment which I gold heat embossed onto some of the mint cardstock from the kit. I stamped out "May all your dreams come true." I thought that worked nicely with this Dreamcatcher ephemera piece, which I'm gluing onto a stitched rectangle die cut from some vellum. And again, that's just to mute down the pattern on that Project Life card in the back. and to help my Dreamcatcher stand out a little bit more. For my second Dreamcatcher ephemera piece, I decided instead of making a second card, I would use the feathers on it to pop up onto this Dreamcatcher, just to add some dimension. This is a really simple card, so I felt like the dimension really added a lot of interest. But you could, of course, just create this card twice and have a flat Dreamcatcher instead. I'm using the foam dots from the kit to pop up the feathers, and then I'm also going to fussy cut the star portion of the Dreamcatcher out from the other ephemera piece and pop that up. I'm just adding foam tape to the circle portion, and I'll pop that up right over the other one. And then in the center, I thought it would be cute to add a little sticker, and that sticker matched perfectly with the floral background. So I'm going to pop up my sentiment, and then I'm going to add glue just behind the Dreamcatcher on the vellum rectangle to hide the adhesive. Okay, and then I'll add my double-sided tape to the Project Life card and adhere this onto my yellow striped panel. I decided to mat it on this gray cardstock. I really felt like the dark cardstock helped to draw the scene in. I'm going to add double-sided tape to my mat, peel the backing sheet off, and attach my pattern paper panel, and then I will attach the gray mat onto my card base. And that will complete card number 6. Here's a close-up. For card 7, I wanted to make a birthday card using this Make-A-Wish Project Life card. So I'm going to pop up the cake slice ephemera piece on top of the cake that's on the card. And the size was perfect to just pop right over that. And then beside the cake, I thought it would be fun to use the ice cream in the smoothie. For my background panel, I chose some rainbow pattern paper that matched the cake really nicely. I'm going to pop up this card here with some foam tape, and I'm going to adhere it kind of at an angle towards the top right of this panel. That way I'd have some room to add this happy birthday ephemera sentiment. I'm just attaching those with my art glitter glue. Okay, and then I'll just grab my card base, add some double-sided tape, and adhere that panel. So I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to trim off the excess of that card. And I didn't like how that looked. I wanted the card to be the same size as my rainbow panel, so I'm taking my scissors and just trimming it a little bit more so that white part of the card can show through more. I tried to do it on the right side of the card, but there was foam tape there, and since it is so sticky, I didn't want to ruin my stickers, so I just left it as is. To finish the card, I'm just going to add a few of the sequins from the kit, and that will complete card 7. I did create a second card with a slightly different design. I made it horizontal. There's a close-up of both cards. I think I said this was card 7. It's actually card 6. This card is card 7. So I started this one off by die cutting the unicorn horn from some gold cardstock, and now I'm going to layer it on top of some silver glitter cardstock from my stash. I'll just fussy cut around that. And I wanted to create sort of like a deconstructed unicorn face. These type of cards have been on trend for about a year now, and I wanted to try it with this die. So instead of die cutting the face or the head of the unicorn, I'm just going to adhere the mane, the horn, and the face of the unicorn. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now. So I adhered the unicorn horn to the top of this white stitch rectangle panel. And then I'm going to glue a few main pieces underneath that horn. And then on top of the mane, I'm going to adhere a flower crown. And I cut the flowers from gold, white, and pink cardstock. I added 3 towards the top. And then I'm going to add a few small ones underneath. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere the eyelashes. So I was just trying to find different ways of using the die, so you don't have to use the head and the snout. You can just create the face of the unicorn, which is really cute. So I'm going to attach the nose and the cheeks. And I'm also going to add the unicorn's ears here. Just trying to find that second pink inner part of the ear. Alright, and then off camera I die cut a scallop stitched rectangle frame from some of the pattern paper. And I wanted to use that Stay Golden die cut sentiment, but I felt like it obviously was not standing out against that really busy cardstock, so I cut it again from some black cardstock and I'm going to layer it behind the gold. And I think that really helped to make the sentiment stand out more. I'm going to place the unicorn face in the center after I adhere the sentiment. And I also die cut some of those stars from that gold cardstock. I'm going to add a few of those around the card panel, sort of as embellishments. And these stars also came in the die cut pack. So I'll just adhere those on with my art glitter glue. I glued a few on the white rectangle and a few on the scalloped rectangle frame. I decided to adhere the frame flat onto my card base. And then for that white stitch rectangle panel, I will pop that up with my foam tape. Alright, and that will complete card number 7. This one's super cute. I really enjoyed that unicorn die. For card 8, I thought it would be fun to create a cell phone card since there were some chat bubbles in the ephemera pack. So I created my own phone. I didn't use a die. I'm going to have the measurements of this phone on my coordinating blog since this video is so fast. I don't think I would have enough time to even say all the measurements, so check out my blog if you want to see, know the measurements on how I made this phone. But I took a gold rectangle, a white rectangle, and then a navy blue rectangle, which I cut with my trimmer. I rounded the edges to look more like a phone and stacked those on top of each other. So that blue pattern paper is supposed to be the phone screen. And then I'm using some punches from my stash to create the home button on my phone. And I actually used this tiny ephemera piece as a reference for creating my large phone. I'm going to add a little black strip at the top and then another black circle as my camera lens. And then I can adhere my chat bubbles. So I chose beautiful, LOL, and sassy. And I did create 2 of these cards. So for the second one, I used OMG instead of LOL. I'm taking some pattern paper, which actually has phones on the background, so it worked really nicely. And here I'm just taking a few of the ephemera pieces and kind of laying out my card design. I'm going to take a sticker from the sticker pack. First I thought about using this one, but it was pink and I felt like it didn't stand out against the pink background, so I chose a navy blue sentiment and that says life is meant for good friends, and I added a hashtag in front of that to go with the cell phone theme. Unfortunately, at this point my camera shut off, so I adhered everything off camera. I popped up the little phone and that little cat face, and then in the background I added a Project Life card just to add some more color. And then I'm going to adhere this onto my card base. And I think this card's my favorite. I would love receiving this card. I think this is a good teenage card. Here you can see the second one that I made. I used the Girl Power die cut instead of the cat face for the second one.